For your health and wellness needs, visit alsherbs.com, ALSHERBS.com, because your health is your wealth. For all your tech support needs, visit ASCS Technical Services at ASCSTS.com. We have on site service as well as remote support options. Check out brokegeniuses.com, stay in the know, order some of our latest merchandise as well as use our financial tools to help you on your daily financial journey.
What's going on? I'm going to be talking to you today about two terms, basically the long game and the short game. So, what I mean by the long game, or actually, I'm going to start off by talking about the short game. I'm talking about terminologies in golf where it relates to your overall wealth and your goals, your financial goals that lead to your overall long-term objective, your basically your life's journey towards whatever you wanted to do in life, whatever you wanted to get in life. This is what I mean by the long term and the short game. I mean the long game and the short game. So the short game is basically your pitch game, your chip shot. So a lot of highly skilled golfers, they can get stuck in the sand and they can get out of it pretty much by simply just you know making a nice little chip shot, getting out the sand dunes or getting out of a tight, rough or even in a weeded area. But in financial terminology, you want to look at it like your short game is what you're doing right now to get your goals accomplished. So you going to work every day, or basically going to open that store, open that office up. That's what you're doing right now to take care of the right now stuff. The right now stuff is the basically living expenses such as your light bills, your gas bills, even transportation costs. Those are like short, basically things that you have to deal with right now that involve, just you overall just dealing with things right now in the short term, and also having that long term focus insight, basically in your rear view, in your foresight to basically see the bigger picture. So that chip shot to get you out of that bad, rough, or that sand uh dune or whatever, that's going to get up when you don't really want to get up that day. Those tough days where it sucks, you didn't get that much sleep, the children were getting on your, natural born nerves, but you still, cooked breakfast for them and sent them, on their way, if or got them ready for school. Right now things are, a little bit different because basically, you're a lot of people are dealing with children at home. You're also working from home, but whatever the environment is, however life is tough it is, you're dealing with it. Though you're doing what it takes to get in that situation, out of that situation, and you're just basically making those adjustments to get you out of that bad situation or get you in a better situation in the long term. That's what I mean by the short game. The um things you're doing right now in the present that will, basically fight off of the bills, fight off of the debts. Because how debts are created usually is you don't have enough money in the short term to deal with expenses, current expenses such as credit card bills or any type of bill. So then that bill goes past due. Then after it goes past due, it goes to collections. After it goes to collections, then it goes on your credit report as a debt, and that's typically that life cycle happens, takes about 4 to 6 months for that financial life cycle to actually occur, where it goes from a bill to a debt, um, because you couldn't pay it, basically. So that is doing things in the short term to, deal with like current expenses and current objectives that you have to meet towards, whatever you're doing to make money or whatever you do to earn a living right now. So that is very important. The short game is definitely important. I mean, I have big dreams, but I'm reminded every day that also I have to deal with the short game. I have to focus. I have to pull my head down and focus on what I got to do right now, because I know what I want to do in the long run. But right now, I have to deal with the short term too. Day in, day by day, one step at a time. I got to keep chipping away at this short game and dealing with these, current expenses and dealing with these projects that I have going, and trying to get to the long term game. So let's get into the long game, right? So, what is the long game? So in golf, it's drivers and irons. Okay. When you tee off, you basically you're using a driver, you know, depending on what type of course it is, you might only have to use a 3 wood. You might not have to use any iron driver, but basically you're gonna have to tee off. And the long game basically is what you want to do in your life. What drives you in life and what are you willing to put in the fire, for what you desire. Okay. uh put some iron in the fire, basically. So your long game is what you actually want to do. You want to be an artist. You want to be a financial broker. You want to have a financial brokerage firm. You want to start a hedge fund. You want to, you know start a car business where you have a car lot. You want to be a car dealer. You want to open up a daycare. You want to open up a school. What do you want to do in the long term? That's your long game. So I mean, a lot of times the short game and even thinking about the long game is very, very boring. I mean, the long game is probably more fun because the long game is, you pretty much you have an idea, you have a picture of in your head of like how things will be, having all of this money or having all of this success and actually doing waking up doing what you want to do in life, and actually having freedom to actually be able to do it. That's very appealing. But the short game, it gets you to the long game. Okay, it's kind of in reverse because in golf, ultimately the long game starts for you to actually get to the short game. But in financial terminologies or in life, it's actually backwards, because you have to deal with the short term stuff first, so you can get to the long term game. So like I say, You have to, you know, whatever the case may be, you want to be a rapper or whatever, you got to be that, you know, guy that wakes up and go, you know, clock in at Chick-fil-A or Popeyes, because you got to deal with the fact that you got to put, you know, have a place to live right now. The rap career ain't necessarily popping, you know, because that's more of a long term type of goal that you might want to do, um, you know, in the long term, or, you know, make something possible. But right now, the short game is basically ongoing. It's not, it does not stop until you actually get to that long term goal, and then you know, like, I have a Patreon, and my Patreon, it talks about, I have videos talking about how you can, you know, basically start something from scratch and actually create enough momentum to actually get any type of goal you want accomplished. And you know, that is on my Patreon. But you know, you have to start with that short game. Everything starts and ends there. That's why I rag on people that go out clubbing, go out and partying, kicking it, especially even where, you know, let's be honest, like, we're in a pandemic. We're in basically a time where it's a virus that's spreading. It's a very hardcore virus that's going on. You know, so partying and stuff like that, it's kind of very risky to do. And even before, you know, the coronavirus, aka COVID-19, uh, I was wholeheartedly saying, you know, what are you partying for when you broke? You know, the whole adage is, what are you celebrating? Failure? Because the short game, yeah, it's all right to, you know, have a drink or pop a bottle every now and again. You sign a big contract or you get a pay raise, that's fine. Or take the family out to eat. All of that is well and done, but you know people that go out every night. You know, every time you see them look up, they, you know, out in the club, they texting you or calling you talking about they at the club. Well, okay, stay there, because the thing about it is, you're you're not in the long term game going to the club. You're a short term guy right now, a short term woman that is, you know, supposed to be chipping away towards your ultimate goal, which is your long game, but you're spending your freedom money, your freedom capital on drinks at a club, making that club owner that is pretty much living his life goal, making him rich, making her rich, you know, buying drinks every night, buying everybody drinks, you know. And it's like, I mean, you know, people be like, "Oh, you corny," or "You're lame," or "You you're no fun." And it's like, yeah, I get it, but I mean, I'm not necessarily you know, quote unquote Dave Ramsey you know, um protege, but I do agree with Dave Ramsey's you know, basically his some of his philosophies to a certain extent. I mean, you can't be like, on one hand, owing everybody money and then out at the club every night, or eating, you know, surf and turf every weekend or every night, you know, living it up. Because see, the consequences to that is debt. You know, then you look up and then, you know, see, here's the thing that they don't talk about with student loans. Student loans, when you don't pay them, you go into default. Once you're in default status, good luck on that job getting a paycheck. You know what happens to that paycheck, young guys and gals? It gets garnished. Now that student loan, that college experience you had a good time with, and you got that degree, It becomes a child support payment for you to good old Uncle Sam. Then they start garnishing your paycheck every paycheck. And then they don't stop until you try to set up some type of like payment arrangement, or they just keep garnishing your paycheck. Your tax return, you can pretty much kiss that goodbye, because that's what happens when you go into default with student loans. See, they people don't tell you this. You don't figure this out, to the end, because it's like, yeah, you listen to these credit gurus tell you, oh, we can wipe this out, we can wipe that out. Well, most student loans, unless they're a private loan, you cannot wipe out. If it's with good old Uncle Sam, which is a federal student loan, it's not going anywhere. And if you default on it by basically not answering the phone calls when the student loan representatives call you, they just write your name on the list. And after a while, they just go and submit your paperwork to the default department or whatever. And then next thing you know, those phone calls that you didn't answer, those emails that you didn't reply, because in the short term, your short game was terrible, right? Your short game sucks, right? You didn't answer the phone calls. You didn't stay on top of your business, right? Now you look up at your check and you complain to HR, what happened to my check? What is this talking about some student loan blah 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 blah, and it's got a hyphen in it, meaning they taking so much money out. They got a minus sign to it, and it's like, pretty much more than 20% of your paycheck. And then you wondering, you already got your paycheck calculated every paycheck, that you got so much to pay your bills, so much to pay your rent, car payment, and all that. You was planning on probably kicking it a little bit that weekend. Now it's gone. Now you got like $400 or $500 taken from you every paycheck, because you didn't manage your shirt game. You didn't answer those phone calls. You didn't basically, all you had to do was file a deferment. You file a deferment, you give yourself a little bit of time if you do need it, or you set up some type of payment plan to avoid that, because you don't necessarily say that you're gonna pay 20% of your paycheck every paycheck towards your student loan. Typically, it's like a monthly payment where you just gonna pay a certain amount, but all of that gets done for you because you didn't manage your short game. That's what I'm talking about. So the long game is pretty much you not getting there, because this is reverse. This actual concept, I thought about this on my day in the work. It's like, what am I going to talk about today? And I don't know why I was thinking about golf. I guess I was thinking about the short game and the long game. But as I start to write things down, like I say, I notice it's actually in reverse. The concept is in reverse, because in golf you teeing off with a driver. You start with the long game, and then you end up with the short game, right? Well, life is actually backwards. Financial life is backwards. You start with the short game to get to the long game. And a lot of what gets people, people that I done seen my whole life, even myself, just having a terrible short game, you know, not being able to chip away at those bills, being inconsistent, you know, quitting jobs, not taking on opportunities, not taking on more, opportunities to gain more capital, to chip away at your short game, so you can ultimately end up, you know, finishing your goals. You know, that people stay at the short game for the rest of their life. Do you know that? Do you realize that most people never even get to the long game? Just think about it. How many people do you know actually got to the long game? They're actually living their life goals. They're financially successful. They have a positive net worth, not only a positive net worth, They are very well off or rich. I only know one person in my family, in my immediate family, that's actually that actually qualifies for what I just said. You know, my uncle, one of my other uncles, he don't even make, like, okay, one of my uncles made like probably 4 to 5 or 6 times what my uncle that actually made it to the long game made, like, in his career. But what he was doing was spending way too much money. This is like this millionaire savings plan is actually like, I look at it as like the Golden Gate Bridge. Like, it's like a bridge made out of gold. Like, because the problem that my other uncle had, so you can say my poor uncle and my rich uncle. My rich uncle didn't even make that much money as my poor uncle. My poor uncle, like, he literally made like probably 6, 7 times as much as my rich uncle made. But what the difference between my poor uncle and my rich uncle is that basically my poor uncle is a miser. He don't spend hardly nothing. I mean, he also invests into business endeavors. Well, my other uncle did too, but he just didn't have the success. IT is very difficult. Okay, to go on your own in IT is could be very difficult, especially if you're on your own and you just got a lot of stuff to deal with. But my other uncle, he used real estate. Real estate worked out. It's a lot more streamlined, because people don't necessarily have to buy your IT services, right? But they need a place to live. Okay. People right now are losing sleep on where they're going to, find a place to live, or trying to figure out where they're going to find a place to live. It's something that everybody has to have a place to live, right? So it's just a tale of two people that, one made a whole bunch of money. You would think that they would certainly be at the long game. And the tripped out thing is my poor uncle, he actually, was the one that I was walking the golf course with, when I was young, well before Tiger Woods, well before, anybody, you know, even was playing golf, and they were black. Like, I was around, black people playing golf, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this is what I saw when I was coming up, you know what I'm saying? So it's like he actually plays golf. My other uncle, I ain't never seen him play no damn golf. My rich uncle, he ain't never played no golf. Okay. But he's actually on the long game because he in the short term, he was saving his money, going to work, waking up, saving his money, saving TV broke. What's going on, Soul Shader? TV broke, still saving his money. Saving his money. Not even don't even care about no TV. Took him like TV broke in the basement. Took him like years to just get another TV. One of his tenants uh gave him a TV for a little balance that he owed on the rent. Terrible miser. You know why he's a miser? The man got kicked out when he was in high school. He was homeless, sleeping in his car, sleeping on other people's couches and stuff like that. He went through a series of unfortunate events that woke him up at an early age and made him tough, mean, and pretty much an asshole because he knew nobody gave a fuck about him very early. Excuse my language if children are watching. But he realized nobody cared about him. He knew that if he didn't make it, nobody else was gonna make it for him. Okay, nobody else was gonna make him any money, any success. he was going to be ultimately the person that was going to make it. Couldn't rely on his mother, couldn't rely on his stepfather. They kicked him out, at an early age, had nowhere else to go. He learned very fast. He had to be tough. He had to be very, very disciplined. Had to save every penny he had because obviously, if he ain't had nowhere else to go, he had no money. The problem was he had no money. I mean, I'm gonna tell you something. Most of the problems people have, main two problems people have, mainly is money and health issues. Money and health issues. Okay, depending on what's going on, you might have both. Because a lot of times, if you ain't got no money, you got probably some health issues. Because see, health insurance is very expensive. And then, okay, another thing that a lot of young people don't understand is that you can go to a doctor, they have to see you. They're gonna bill you at a high rate when you go to an emergency room, and it's very, very expensive, right? They do have to see you, but the dentist office doesn't have to see you. So it's very common. You ever wonder why people have a jacked up grill? It's because the dentist office, you can't go walk into a dentist office and then be like, "Hey, I need you to see me," and then just bill me. No, they don't. They're not mandated by law to do that. So what is dental insurance? It's a luxury. Dental insurance is literally a luxury and it's expensive. Typically insurances are, you got to pay so long, and then you have to, it's a waiting period, and then they don't even pay full price. It's 50% off. So you pay whatever amount, $100 a month, and then to get dental coverage or whatever, to use the actual dental insurance, it just give you 50% off. So the thing is that you got to learn at a very early age. Nobody's gonna care about you. This system. I've already laid out foundational videos. They're already up. I laid down how vicious this system is. I talked about weeks ago about how unequal this country is as far as wealth distribution. I mean, they don't care about you. Okay. And the poor people don't care about you either. The rich don't care about you, and the poor people definitely don't care about you. I would even say the poor people tend to probably not care about you more than anybody because they have their own problems that they have to deal with that are very, very immediate. Whereas maybe somebody that is wealthy or rich, they have a lot more luxury to be able to help people. Not saying all of them do, but they're probably more apt to kind of consider it versus a poor person. A poor person can't really help you because, like I say, they have immediate issues. But typically, people that don't have a lot of money help more than actually wealthy people. But and they do it to spite their own faces a lot of times. But basically nobody really cares. It's like, you go to a third world country, those people don't care about you. It's a billion people. They're walking over people that packed in the train. I mean, like, go to look at the videos in India, all them people. When they come over here, they cold blooded. They don't care. They got ice in their veins. They don't give a hell about you. It's about them, their goals. They're nice people, of course, but hardcore on the inside because there is very, very competitive. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to think about, basically, like I said, what is your long term strategy? What is your long game? And then you got to focus on your short game. You got to deal with the right now. Because let's face it, a lot of people are they gonna stay in the short game. It's people that stay in the short game for the rest of their life, man. You know, it's people that they done spent so much money, they don't have any retirement left. They running out of time for retirement. They're gonna have to work for the rest of their life. Okay. It's just you wake up and you had a good time spending and buying all of those shopping bags and having all those shopping trips and having all of those vacations, and you wake up and you're 50 years old. You had a good time, but you still look okay, but you got, some gray hairs, but you basically you're broke, and you're pretty much kind of in a situation where it's really really bad, because now it gets even harder to get up in the morning. It gets harder. You get in a time where you typically are supposed to be getting ready for to be retired or already retired, or if not within the next 5 to 10 years, be able to be retired, and you're not going to be able to, because you had so good of a time. You turned down those guys that proposed to you when you were, 25 or 22 or 28, 32. You was beautiful then, you looked so good then, and so young and youthful, and now, pretty much you're, just a 55-year-old spinster. No mayor's prospects whatsoever. Nobody even is looking your way. You looking at young guys like with lasers through your eyeballs, and they don't want you because ideally, I mean, what you're older. They don't have any children. They know it's pretty much a wrap with you. I mean, I don't want to offend anybody too bad, but I mean, you know, when you don't have, I mean, a lot of times women are valuable. I've said this before. Women, what makes a woman is the word woman comes from womb. Your womb is the most valuable thing that you have. That's what makes you a woman. And the man is his might. So a young man, that has no children, use you like I walk in the store and I got 55-year-old women laser beaming their eyeballs into my skull. I'm like, okay, I don't want you. I you miss your mark. You turned down all them guys when when you were younger, when you were in college, when you had you was first got out of college and you got your job and you started your career. You turned all of them dudes down. It ain't my turn to come save you with the little youth that I do have left. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, so Shader, I gotta go in, because that is part of it. Because see, I told you, I mean, I said this, like, and then even, gotta mention the dude that always talks about relationships every day. He talks about this every day, Kevin Samuels. I mean, and I'll just even back to what I said. All of the books that I've read on financial wealth and financial personal finance, mate selection, your partner is part of that process. That whole power couple type of mentality, or not even so much mentality, or just basically um, just way of life or whatever, is real. Two people coming together. I mean, I can never say that I'm gonna. You can be single for the rest of your life and blah blah. No, I mean, men are not designed to be single, nor women, and definitely not women. And it's like you turned down all of those guys when you were younger. You turned down all of these prospects because you were so picky. You could be picky at that point, but you didn't. But then 10 years rolled by, then 20, then 30. Now you 55 and bitter. I mean, you still feeding your cats. You still, giving them the fresh milk. You're a good cat mom, you know, but kind of bitter. When you walk in the store, you giving the male associate a little bit extra lip because you're pretty bitter. And then you haven't sat on the couch and talked to nobody about it. So you become this bitter, a woman that's kind of going into the part where you become you know, you're a male hating feminist, and then you going into being a crone. You know, when I mean it is hope. I mean, I could, if you're offended by this, you could reach out to me. I could tell you what you got to do. Probably ain't gonna like to hear it, but it is hope. Yep, them women thought that they was gatekeepers of relationships and sex, but had to learn the hard way. Happens every time, man. The women that at least have some children, they fare better. They had children, they still kind of bitter, but then they did use their womb. They utilized their womb and they had some children. They don't feel that bitter. But yeah, man, that short game, even the women, I mean, it goes deeper. Even women that are in the long term that actually are doing very well, they are bitter because they do have the money and the wealth, but yeah, can't really get no guy, keep no guy. They can't really turn to and go home. You know, um, they got the wealth and the money, but they don't have any children of their own. They can't keep a guy around. I mean, it kind of goes deep with that, but the thing is, when you were younger, what happened? You had an abortion, so now you got one ovary. You know what I'm saying? You had two, but you thought, well, I'm gonna be this, high level executive. I'm gonna make all of this money. This baby is gonna stop me. So now you don't have the ability to make a baby. You done got older, and then you're high risk. Then it becomes an option where it slowly becomes you're not even gonna be able to have children. You're gonna have to adopt, or you're gonna have to, have an expensive situation where you have to have a surrogate, and then you have to go through IVF. Basically, those two combined just add $150,000 to the mix. Those two things that I just said, it just calculated $150,000. If you go to another country, it's cheaper, but you can't go to another country right now because it's a freaking pandemic. But yeah, in America, those two procedures are about $150,000. Okay. So if you don't really want to spend that much money, that's not going to be an option. And then a lot of times women talk themselves out of that because it's like, well, I mean, even if I do it, I don't even. This ain't really how I wanted it to be. I was supposed to be that lady that was to, hop on a horse and ride out with my knight in shining armor. But the thing was is that in the short game, you made a decision that because see, here's the thing, I'm talking about money and wealth, right? Well, your health is more valuable than money and wealth. I'll repeat that. Your health is more valuable than money and wealth. For example, I like Windows. I'm a techie, right? I'm a Windows buff. But I mean, like I talked about this, I don't really like Bill Gates. I like Steve Jobs more than I ever did like Bill Gates. I've actually even worked for Microsoft. Okay. But I'm not really into to Apple like that. But I liked Steve Jobs more because Steve Jobs was more like me than I am like Bill Gates. Okay. Steve Jobs was more of a business aficionado, techie type guy. Okay. Now that being said, Steve Jobs, he did a lot of things that ate a lot of things that were kind of high risk, eating a lot of caviar and sushi and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff, got can be cancerous, So, I mean, billionaire, what would you pay to extend your life on this earth? I mean, one of the things that a lot of billionaires and a lot of the wealthy elite are doing, they're spending a lot of money on um, basically, it's a term, I don't have it off the top of my head, but basically, they're spending money on companies. There's even companies that basically are in the business of living longer, basically. They even have companies where you pay for your loved one to be frozen in a cryogenic freezer in hopes to one day revive them. Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that being said, how much is your health worth? And this is the things that people don't understand. This is the things that, you know, um men and women don't understand. When you're younger, you're taking sacrifices towards your health. In a woman's case, in an abortion, those abortion procedures, man, they just one nip, and then next thing you don't have any fallopian tubes, or one of your fallopian tubes are cut. This, one, I know a chick that she's got one missing ovary because, one snip in the wrong place, and then there you go, ovary gone. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna talk about some things, and if like over the weekend, I'm gonna talk about this more in detail. But the thing is that, yeah, your health is definitely, you definitely, on my blog, on my oldest blog, the one on Blogspot, I talked about things as far as, like, yeah, I mean, even in the short term, you still don't want to sacrifice your health doing things to try to, like, make some money or get rich, because you'll end up, in a situation where you in jail or in prison, or you put yourself in harm's way, like working a job this literally destroying your body, or causing you to have premature death. I mean, these things are not worth it to make money just so you can drive a nice car, so you can smile when you pick up a chick, when you know what I'm saying, like, all of that shit is not worth it, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you, it's broke people that get women. It's guys that ain't got no money to get women. When I realized that, when I realized a chick will just basically go with a broke dude, even if she with a rich dude, I was like, wow. Okay, so all I got to do is really just, to be honest, like, just be myself, be my best self. Women just gonna want you regardless, because they're not really attracted to money either, like that, with a guy. Like, they say they want a guy with money, right? Or a quote unquote high value man, but you don't understand what they're saying. See, I'm old school a little bit. They already been with the alpha. They already been with the, Pookie and Ray Ray. They got kids. They looking for a beta buck to pay for their mistakes, to pay for their fuck ups. That's what they ultimately are saying. The ones that already have, children and everything like that. They're looking for somebody, a sucker, basically a Captain Saver, to save them. That's what they're saying with that. But the thing is that, you know, short-term decisions such as trying to, like, work some job that's putting a toll on your body, ultimately, so you can be a thriving bachelor male to get a chick. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, because um at the end of the day, even if you have children, your children are not going to be able to see you. You're not gonna even be able to, see them, and then they're gonna be like, "Damn, where's Daddy at all the time?" and all this. It's not worth it, man. I'm just tell you, like I done seen people, man, die early. Some of my friends, their parents died when they was in their 40s. It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. Money in relates in relation to your health and your overall, mortality. It's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the thing is that yeah, I mean, making that decision, yeah, ultimately, even when it comes to relationships, a woman could have changed her overall life. Instead of being in the short game, she could have been in the long game if she chose that guy that she turned down, or in some women's case, a series of guys. In a lot of cases, a lot of women turn down a series of men, of eligible bachelors. I never forget, man, my dear sister, man. She wanted, she wanted the thug or whatever, pretty much. That she had the eye on the thug. And this guy, he just had a regular job. He worked at a hardware store. He came and brought her some, like, flowers on her birthday, some balloons, and she was happy, but I could tell. I was like, oh, I know my sister. She don't like this dude. She just want thugs. And I was like, wow. And I ain't, it is what it is, man. I'm gonna just tell you, she's man, she's in a bad situation, man. You know, God forbid, man. She's in a bad situation, man. Man, violins and all kind of shit, man. She's like, man. I mean, you know, it's crazy, man. I just, that's why I try to say these things, man, so people can understand and wake up. I mean, you turning down your future, by basically and not even knowing it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm gonna talk about a few things in future videos, the pros and cons of mate selections. The pros and cons of mate selection. So, what is the pro and the con of dating that guy that, basically, letting that dude shoot your club up because he dropping the bottom out, and then, pretty much he probably gonna go to prison or whatever the case may be. What's the consequences of that versus picking the guy, you know, that quote unquote is more square. You know what I'm saying? Because it's consequences to it. And I'm gonna talk about that in a future video. Say, yep, that's why I don't take money that seriously. I just want to make enough to be able to take care of take care of yourself and live decently. Yeah, I mean, I learned that several years ago because my mother died, about 60. Which is early in this time, in modern times, in these times. Yeah, 60 is even early, you know. Yeah, so it's like basically a lot of times I even my mother, my dear mother, and even my father stayed in the short game, stayed in the short game, basically hanging out with friends, spending money, sending money to people, not saving no money. You know what I'm saying? My mother living check to check, overextending herself. I used to tell my mother, before she bought the house that she bought, before she lost in a foreclosure, I told her, I said, Mom, you just get a house that's like, I can get you a house. I found a house that's like 15 grand. It might need fixing up, but you won't have to have no expensive mortgage, and you just gotta fix it up. See, one thing about women, I'm tell you, a lot of people already know this. A lot of women, they like stuff already fixed up and finished and polished, and they get suckered on that because it's like, for example, a woman will buy a used car that somebody bought for $500 at an auction, and they just put about $1,500 in it and fixed it up, just to sell it, right? And they'll sell some woman a car, that same car, for like 7 grand with a car note plus interest, because she's seeing the finished product that is fixed up, probably give her a warranty for like 6 month warranty, you know, and all of that. And she got a loan on it for 7 grand plus interest. And that's a high interest, right? And they'll do that rather than, like, they same scenario, right? The guy didn't fix the car up. The car just sitting in the back of the car lot where, all the cars that it's like fixer upper or mechanic specials, right? Guy like myself, you know what I do? I go straight to the back first. I go to the back of the car lot first because I want to get me a fixer upper. You know what I'm saying? I, that's what I buy. I mean, I like the best deal. But women, typically women, I mean, it's just the way that people in society are ingrained. Women are primarily not fixers. You know what I'm saying? So them actually being able to fix up a car, typically that's just not how it is. It was just this is just not how we're programmed. Men and women are programmed differently. So, when I was a kid, I played with Tonka trucks and little tools, and um I was watching He-Man and Transformers and shit like that. So women, was playing, watching My Little Pony, Care Bears, you know, you're very, girly centric type, stuff. So, and that's the way, it's still the same. It's the way things are programmed. So it's like, and then also, um, women like little nice prissy stuff and whatnot. Even the like masculine females, right? They want everything. They still at their very core, they're still that prissy girl that used to play with dolls. They just, because life is just so hardcore. And I'm gonna talk about that too. Where, because a lot of people are single, like men have to be women and men. You have to cook, clean, take care of everything, iron your clothes, uh, everything that a woman typically would do. If a man is single, he has to do it, cook, all of that. And then for women, women have to do the same thing. They have to literally be the man that they don't have. You know what I'm saying? Or if they're in a relationship with someone that doesn't do all those things, they accept that, and then they still do those things. So it's like, basically, they have to be the person that goes to take their car to get service. They have to be the guy that, gets on the ladder to to clean out the gutters. They do all of these things that typically a man does because they don't have a man present, right? Because they're single. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of that it kind of goes into, the dualities of being single. But I mean, also, yeah, I played Legos too. Man, they had Legos was still expensive when I was young, but it was way more expensive now. But man, I used to play the shit out of Legos. But yeah, I mean, it's just basically, a lot of times it's just, like my parents, back to my parents, staying in that short game. You living check to check, buying too much, of a house and being house poor. Those things, buying car notes, getting car notes, those things put you in a situation where you are permanently playing the short game, because basically that's what ultimately, the end goal is for a lot of these financial companies, or let's just say the well-to-do. They want all of these poor people to stay in the short game, because the short game is what keeps you going to work. It fuels the system. if you don't have to go to work, you won't do certain things. The garbage man, he doesn't pick up the garbage because he enjoys it. Maybe a few people, but they do it because they gotta do it for a living. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, if everybody did the long game very well, then they wouldn't have to do these certain jobs and tasks um that they do because they're long game. They have enough wealth, they have enough capital to do whatever they want to, you know, because that's what ultimately the long game is. Your goal, your actual uh um whatever you want to invest in, invest your time in and your money in, and ultimately make a living in. If you're doing that, you know, you're not necessarily doing odd jobs and stuff like that. So then, that puts the economy in a situation where, yeah, they have to pay more money, and they have to even import a lot of people to do these jobs. You know what I'm saying? Because it won't be that many people doing it because people will be more financially successful. Well, that's not the case. Most people are not financially successful. They're in the short game, and basically it's because, like I said, they're not saving money. They're living check to check. They don't have any savings. They don't even have any financial goals. They just partying too much when there's nothing to party over. Being way too socials, buying fancy clothes when they're poor, for validation from other poor people. All of this stuff keeps you in this short game, and takes you away from the long game. So um, that's the thing when a millionaire savings plan comes in, and I know I always talk about it, but that's what helped me with my long game, man, because all that stuff I just said, financial plan, savings plan, having savings, cutting that check to check lifestyle, that millionaire savings plan that did it. All it took me one time to live with my sister again, and that one night where I was pacing back and forth in her basement in the rental she was renting. That's all it took, man. I used my God-given brain, and my father, and God upon, God Almighty gave me, man. And I thought, man, what do I do, man, to deal with this situation for the rest of my life? Deal with this situation that I've been having problems with for my entire life. And that was that millionaire savings plan, man. That's what did it. Once I did that, it's pretty much put me on autopilot, man. I mean, some people might like the Dave Ramsey plan. That works for them. I don't know, whoever else got a plan. It works for them. My plan is like, I don't know. It's like you know, uh, Alan Roger Curry, his Mode 3 or whatever, Mode 1. That works for him. He wrote a book about it. Like, that's like how I pretty much look at the millionaire savings plan. I mean, it's my Mode 1 for my financial success. Like, it's something I could have kept a secret. I could literally have kept that shit a secret, but I ultimately said I'm gonna actually put this out there because this is gonna be part of the process. And ultimately, maybe I might, might take off or whatever, you know, and then I don't know, but if not, I'm just gonna give that to the world so I can ultimately help more people become wealthy, help more people become rich, help more people become even just, if I can just cut the check to check lifestyle, I'm doing something. I'll feel better. If somebody write me or call me or text me, hey, you help me cut my check to check lifestyle. You know, um, I feel like I did something because ultimately, I think that when 10 years ago, 5 years ago, if I had this plan, I just don't know. I mean, I think I would already be a millionaire by now because I just needed something that was gonna just give me all of these things, give me a financial plan, you know, you know, uh, give me some type of edge up, give me some confidence. I'm gonna tell you something. So you talk. Oh yeah. Yeah, those some heavy hitters, man. Yeah, I had to hop in. But you know when you have about $5,000 in the bank, you got $10,000 in the bank. When you get out your bed and you put your dress on, put your little girl dress on, a big girl dress on, your big girl heels, your big boy pants, and your big boy, shoes, you got more confidence when you got $10,000 in the bank. Okay, I ain't gonna lie to you. I remember, you know, I had the most money I've ever saved in my life, and I was with a friend of mine. Car blew out. I mean, the tires blew out. I blew two tires at the same time. They ain't never happened to me. I swear to God, I blew out plenty of tires. I ain't never blew out two tires at the same time. I hit a divider. Fortunately, the car lot, I mean, the tire shop was right across the street. So I just, drove slow, parked the car. I I got thousands, right? What racks on racks? I got racks on racks in the bank. Got an Uber. Locked the doors. You know what I'm saying? It was right at I think what was the I think it was Tire Barn or something like that. I think that was the name. Not Tire Barn. It was I can't think of the tire shop. But basically left the car, got an Uber, we got up out of there. Then he dropped him off at his house. Then um his car was already in the shop. Then I took a Uber back to my place or whatever where I was living. And in the morning, called the tire shop. Well, actually, they called me. You know, no, actually, I called them. Yeah, I called them, and I think they told me, yeah, they told me how much it would cost. So I just got another Uber back over there, and I was working remote, so I just I used my cell phone as a hotspot. So I was waiting in the tire shop, for them to fix my car. And I mean, well, give me the new tires or whatever. And I got a set of all four new tires. I'm gonna be honest with you, I ain't never got a set of all four tires in my life. I used to be one of them guys. I used to be so broke all the time. I would just like get get used tires all the time. I would get maybe one new tire if they didn't have a any used tires because you got to get a tire. Maybe two new tires, but I ain't never got a set of all four. And I had to pay like about $900 for a set of four tires. You know, and it, it I did it. It wasn't nothing. It's like I had that covered. The car could have blew up, and shoot, I got out of it, caught on fire. I'd have been right online on my laptop looking for another car, trying to buy another car. I had the money. You got more confidence when you got your financial life in order, man. When you not check to check, when you got money saved up, you more confident. I'm not saying you an asshole. I mean, but you damn near are if depending on how much money you got. That's why a lot of rich people are kind of like assholes. They can say whatever they want for the most part, because they got money to back it up. Can you show me what do you mean? What do you mean by show you? Um, as far as like just as far as talk, I mean, talk about it or what are you talking about? Show you? Like I can show you an Excel spreadsheet. It's on my videos. It's on my I actually got a video with Eddie Murphy in the picture of the video, and it's called Millionaire Savings Plan. I did that like over 6 months ago. It's in my video archive list. You know what I'm saying? And then I mean, just briefly, Basically, a millionaire savings plan is you just start with step one is you save $1,000. First once you save $1,000, each goal each step you take, you get a reward. Okay, and then um, you start from step one, you go to step two, which is $2,000. It doubles pretty much every step. It doubles. So on the 11th step, you'll get to where it's $1 million. And then once you get that step, you get a reward. So each step you get a reward. So you start from 1,000 and you save $1,000, you get a reward. Then you work on doubling the $1,000 to get to 2,000 on step two. And you get yourself another reward. So what you're doing is you training your brain to want to get a reward. You're tricking your finance. You're psychologically tricking yourself to save more money because you're wanting that reward. That reward when every time I save some money, like the times that I've you know got to my steps, it wasn't no thing where I was waiting for the reward or nothing. I immediately bought the reward. I got the reward right away. I didn't because I took it serious. I achieved that step. I got the reward. You know what I'm saying? So each step you get a reward, and it's like you're basically when you see your reward out in public, like my $32,000 reward is a Porsche SUV, Cayenne or whatever I could afford, and they're pretty cheap. They don't even cost that much, but that's what I put on my reward list. 32K. I say 32K. I'm gonna get a Porsche SUV. I see Porsche SUVs all the time, and it reminds me I got to get to $32,000. I got to get there. And then you set yourself a date also of achieving that reward. So you don't just put it down there. You actually set a date of when you're going to get that reward. And you put it where you it makes sense that you possibly, can achieve that goal at that date. But you don't just put a date. The date is also important. So a estimated date of completion. You know, so ultimately you'll just create a spreadsheet. You'll start with step 1 through 11, and you'll put at the right of every step what your reward is, what you want. So, if you want, you draw, right? You want to buy uh I don't know, a sketch pad with the laptop or something like that, or some software or something like that with the sketch pad or whatever the heck you got to get for art or whatever. You put that down there for step one, and whatever you don't have that you want ultimately, and then on the right of that you put an estimated date of completion. And then I put also to the right of that, I put notes as far as like, what did I do to get this step? How challenging was it? And stuff like that, so as to kind of journal w- how hard it is, or how hard is it, how did it get this step? What did I do to get this step as well? Typically from like most people, from step one to probably even step four, which is step four is 8 grand. Most people can get that from working a job. Even if you work at Walmart, you can get to step four. You can save with the $8,000. It might take you 2 years to do it, but you can get to it. And it probably won't, because see, here's the thing. Here's another thing about I said confidence, right? Having 10 grand in your bank account, you know, having 10 grand, whatever, cash, however I recommend having it in a bank account, because You don't want your brother or your cousin or your mom's boyfriend to. I'm not talking about you, so shit. Just talking about in theory, just anybody. You don't want them finding your stash like the movie Fresh or something, where somebody finds your cash stash because you didn't save it in the bank, and then next thing you know, you done save $8,000 in a freaking Folgers tin can, and somebody was watching you, you know what I'm saying, and then you didn't know that they were watching you, and they found your stash, or you put it under your mattress. No, I definitely say you should put it in a bank. You know, primarily you could. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be in one bank. It doesn't have to be, um, you know, it could be like in my case, it was in a variety of different banks, and even I counted my investment portfolio, so my brokerage accounts. I counted that within my millionaire savings plan. So I had, several savings accounts, several checking accounts. All of those accumulates into the balance, right? So I counted all of those. So whatever medium you have, I definitely recommend not so much cash. I recommend you putting it in the bank where it's secure, where it's not somebody can't come and just jack you for your funds under your mattress or under your pillowcase. So once you do all of that, like I said, if you got money, you should be able to make more money with it. So if you got, let's say, 2 grand, you should ultimately look at it like a challenge. It's also a challenge. It's a plan, but it's a challenge because life is challenging. So, you save 2 grand, buy some stuff, go to the flea market for the weekend or something and resell some goods or whatever you know how to do. I mean, um, you buy it and resell it. You should be able to resell. You should be able to take $100 and turn it into $200. If you need help with that, you got people like me, you got other people on YouTube that are, into do all kind of different stuff, they buy storage units, auctions, people buy do all kind of different things. There's all kind of channels of people talking about ways to make money. Like that's like a niche in YouTube where a lot of people do a lot of videos on there because it's a lot of people are looking for that. So if you need help in that direction, you know what I'm saying? You got tons of content out here that will teach you how to take $100 and invest it, or $1,000 and invest it. Or you can just, like I say in my book, start a Webull, M1 Finance, or Robinhood. Try to learn how to trade. Before you do that, try to paper trade first. I mean, not so much paper trade, but you don't have to paper trade now. You can do it online. Um, because paper trading actually comes from, like, before the internet, you have to just write down trades and track them. That was actually how people actually learn how to trade. They actually used to write down stocks on the paper and then track them as if that they had the actual account in the index funds, and or ETFs, or stocks, and then they just track them on paper. But you could do that online now. It's tons of, even all of the brokerages, houses, they have paper training accounts you could start. So you learn how to trade first. Then once you got somewhat level of some confidence, then you start, live trading, and then try to invest it towards make it grow. Um, or if you're not comfortable doing that, I say buy stuff and just resell it. Or I don't know. I mean, whatever you know how to do. Some people know how to cook. I mean, sell plates. I mean, it's a lot of ways you can make, like, it's a million ways you can make $1 million, legally. You know, start a OnlyFans. Don't know. I mean, shoot, it's all kind of ways. Now, I'm not gonna start no OnlyFans, but I mean, you might be young and don't nobody know you. I mean, hey, I mean, they got OnlyFans for like toes. You could just show your feet. Um, I have a goal to save 100K by 25, and I'm already 25% of that way there. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like stuff like this, like I'm supposed to be going home, but I don't even want to go home because when I like talking about money. I'm a money focused, finance focused individual. People don't call me. Like I tell people, don't call me if it ain't about no money, if it ain't about no business, don't even bother me, okay? Because you ain't gonna like my conversation. You ain't gonna like the tone of my voice. Because I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, uh, oh, okay, oh, for real? Oh, okay. Because if it ain't about no money, cause see, like it's one thing if I ain't had no problem with money. Money's been one of my biggest problems my whole life. So I'm very financially focused. That's why to be honest, I don't really listen to a lot of people, and I get really bored very easily, and I have to click off of people's videos. Don't even, cause I can't really focus in on women and all that other stuff because I know when you got your money good, I'm gonna tell you something. When you got confidence, that's an aura. Okay, you walk with an aura of confidence when you got $10,000 in the bank account. You definitely, if you already know how to dress, you already know what to buy. You look good. You know what I'm saying? You know how to buy even, at a thrift at a low cost. You got money already. Guess what? More women gonna be looking your way by default, unless you just, I don't know. I mean, everybody's, got their own little problems and flaws and shit like that. But I mean, if you got money, you're halfway decent guy, it pretty much just goes hand in hand. And then you working on yourself, you working on your body and everything like that. You eat healthy, you health conscious. I mean, guess what? Women are gonna be looking your way. You know what I'm saying? Like I was at the laundromat, young women were looking my way, because I'm I'm that ninja, literally. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, it just goes hand in hand, man. And going back to what you're saying, this is the type of stuff that I want to talk about. I love talking about this type of stuff because it's one of the biggest problems a lot of people have, especially black people. They ain't got a lack of capital, a lack of wealth. I mean, this, $100,000 by 25 is what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, I'm buying real estate. I'm putting money in real estate. I'm sacrificing. I'm going through hell right now because I'm living with people that I love helping. I love my family. I love helping them, but they don't want no help. And then I can't do anything about it. My hands are tied. I have to do what I gotta do. I gotta get the electrical done. I gotta get the plumbing done. I gotta get the house at least habitable so I can just get out of that situation as quickly as I can. And then yeah, still help them. But sometimes people don't want help, and then having to deal with like living with family and all that stuff temporarily, or having living somewhere else. That's why I bought this. That's why I got into real estate. Because I don't listen to other people talking about you should rent and all this other stuff. Because if you have a way out of rent, I definitely don't recommend anybody to rent. To me, renting is temporary. And I don't know the name of this guy, man, but this guy is an absolute genius. He's wealthy. He's a wealthy individual. This guy, man, I don't know his name, but I agree with what he said, and I've said this way before he even said it. before I even heard him say this. He said people that rent are still homeless because you don't own a home. I mean, you live with your family, you still homeless. You live with other people, you still homeless. I'm not ragging on anybody, but this hardcore type of talk, it offends a lot of people. And then a lot of people are agreeing with this guy. And I also agree with him because the thing about it is, yeah, if you don't really technically, I can even go a step further. If you don't have the title of a house, it ain't your house. You drive that nice car, but you ain't got the title of that car. I got the title of my car on me on my possession. Okay, I have my title of my Mercedes. I got the title of it. You know what I'm saying? These people driving these nice cars, they don't have the title to that car. That car ain't theirs. It ain't yours until it's yours. Okay? You don't own it until you own it. So even if you got a house, you got a mortgage, you don't own that house, you technically what? Homeless. See, this is the type of stuff, man, that people don't want to hear. This hurts, this offends people. This is offensive. But it's the truth. It's the hard nosed, hard not life truth. And I mean, basically, this is what this millionaire savings plan is about. It's about, yeah. I mean, 120. Let me look at my savings plan because I have to pull it up and see exactly where 124. I think it's like 124,000. So yeah, MSP. Okay. So yeah, 128,000 is step 8. Okay. So technically I'm trying to get to where you talking about in the same amount of time, about 4 years. I'm actually I'm actually on that. That's my estimated timeline for me to get $128,000, 2024, you know what I'm saying? So, the thing is that I'm using what I know, and I've already, pretty much came to the understanding that I'm gonna be using a combination of stock investing, reselling goods, also even my services. Because I just rolled out handyman services on my my house home services website. I've been a handyman for over 25 years. So I wrote that out on my website a couple days ago. And I was, basically fixing a few things around my family's house, and they were kind of upset because they so used to like stuff being old and not working. They don't, I don't know. Some people, they don't even want self-improvement. They don't even want you to improve. But I was doing it because I was trying to get content. Actually, it was a method. I figured I help them out, and then I also get content. But anyway, I did that, and then also, that's one of my strategies, and also, you know, buying stocks is one of my strategies, and then all in the long term with that is actually getting the options, and then real estate. That is, basically something that I've been doing, and basically from that, I think the real estate is going to be something that's more of a better return for me because it might take a while, but I know real estate very well. I know the market very well. So I do one property, and then I go just roll over, buy another property after everything is settled with the first one. So then I got two properties. Then ultimately, the goal is to get out of debt as well. So I sell one of those properties, and then I'll just cut the check to the student loan company, and then now I ain't got no debts. Now I got a positive net worth. So then when I start, I'll just restart the millionaire savings plan, being debt free. Now I'm more confident because now my net worth is positive. You know what I'm saying? And then I basically, you know, I'll just start right over and get another house. Do it again. Then now I don't got no debt, and then I'm steady, buying stocks, you know, reselling goods, redoing whatever it takes, right, to try to get higher up these steps, right? And upon doing that, you know, I'm doing better because see, here's the thing. I ain't gonna lie to you. It don't even take me 100 grand to be like extremely, you know, uh, just taking off. It kind of like you got to look at it like a forest fire. A forest fire usually starts with a few embers, little small little specks of fire, right? They just hit a leaf and then create a little more fire, and then fire, the next thing you know, a leaf fire starts, and then a forest uh starts, a whole forest fire from these small embers. That's what you ultimately are doing when you got, like, all of a sudden you got 4 grand in your bank account. Now you got eight. I get due. Who is due? Okay, I get due, but cars are made to break down over time. Though, so buying it would be a waste. Who is dude? Unless you buy a car, cheap car, then a house still ain't a house after you buy it because of home. I mean, well, yeah, you got to pay taxes, but the thing is that you got to look at what other people are paying. I don't know who dude is as far as what you talking about with the cars, but most people have to pay rent, right? It's like $1,500, $1,200 a month, $1,000, whatever. So when you own a house and you already fix it up and you sacrifice for a year or two, fix it up. Well, yeah, you pay the taxes, but you don't have to pay that $1,000, $1,500 a month for rent. You become an actual homeowner. You just paying taxes. Well, what would you rather do? Pay $3,000 in taxes a year, or pay $1,500 a month to rent an apartment? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you young, man. I mean, you young, man. So I don't even know. I can't. I gotta remind myself, man. I ain't trying to spoil like, cause you. I mean, you gotta get out there. Maybe. I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. Nah, this is. I had to talk. I had to be talking to you like I talk to my son, man. Man, fuck rent, man. Do it the rich way, right? No, when you get out, man, just buy you a house, man. Just bypass all that rent shit, man. Just go right buy you a damn house, man. If you want, get a condo. Get you a condo, which is ain't nothing but an apartment that you own. You know what I'm saying? Just bypass all that rent shit. Fuck rent. Just go and get you a condo, save up. If you ever want to go on your own, just forget rent, forget all your friends getting apartments. Just go get a goddamn townhouse or a house or whatever, and just be like, exit stage right, basically. You know what I'm saying? All your other little friends or whatever, they got apartments, you got a house. Now they gonna be jealous of you because you've been listening to the broke genius. He said, "Fuck rent. Rent is temporary. Rent is a temporary situation." Now, I mean, if you got money already, you got money saved up, you ain't got to rent. You become a homeowner, and then if you want to, you could rent out a bedroom or two to Airbnb. Get you a two-bedroom condo. You could either make one an office or whatever, and then your other one a bedroom, or you could just rent one out and then make like whatever a month, like $1,000 a month off Airbnb. You know what I'm saying? Or basically just don't even think rent. Don't even think apartment. Because you got an opportunity, like I would tell my son, I would be like, man, forget rent. Save your money. I'm gonna charge you rent here. You gonna what? You gonna be here probably another 2, 3, 4 years. All right, I need you to pay me $500 a month. About 4 years from now, I'm a hold all that money you got. You know about 25,000 a check for $25,000. You know what I'm saying? You got that towards a down payment towards a condo, or if you want if you just want a house, you just get you a house. Lead a rent toward all other young people, that still gotta, go through their little process, their little growing phase. Well, you've been educating yourself, for a few years or whatever. You going advance. It's like, look at it like, it's young people that they was prodigies in school. They, like I would tell, when I had my computer class, a lot of the children are kind of, well, not kind of, but they were unruly. I'm like, y'all just up in here joking, thinking this is a joke. It's 12-year-olds already in college. It ain't that many of them, but it is a few that they already in college. 13-year-olds already in college. Y'all in seventh grade, sixth grade, joking around thinking everything's a joke. The smartest of your peers are already in college. So yeah, you could be, I look at you, Soul Shader, as one of those individuals that you probably don't even have to go the whole apartment rent thing. You can just go branch off into getting your own house, or maybe if you don't feel comfortable with that, just getting a condo, seeing how it is with the mortgage and whatnot. Or if you got the cash, depending on your area, just go ahead, buy a condo, cash, or buy you a house. You know what I'm saying? Because I think of you as someone that is more qualified to actually advance to the next phase, where other people might not be disciplined enough or even have enough wherewithal to do so. You pretty much, I advance you to home ownership. You know, um, exit stage left, all of that other rent stuff and all of that. You advance to home ownership. Basically, all that other stuff, you just go right past it. It's not really needed for you, because if you got the capital already, and what I'm talking about, people do, people a lot, not a lot, but it's people that actually, mostly, I'll just say this, probably most likely people that they come from upper class families, their children already are willed or already have a house waiting for them after they graduate college. Okay, their parents already got two or three houses, a mansion, another mansion. They already got a house waiting for them. They not renting no house. The only way they probably rent is just to have a place where their friends can have apartments. I mean, have parties and shit like that. That's the only reason they would rent. To have a secret spot that they parents don't know about. See, this is what goes on in that type of bubble. That's what they do. So I just, like I said, I truly mean that. I don't think that you don't strike me as someone that even has to even go through that type of development. You are already, I think, ready to get to a point where you branch off, you can just go right into home ownership. Mm, yeah, man, you I don't know, man. That's kind of expensive, man. That's kind of expensive, bro. I'm actually probably the next few days or whatever. I'm gonna make this calculator with the 1.5 rule. So I think you should follow the 1.5 rule, man. And the 1.5 rule is basically you take what you make ultimately on average a year. Like for example, let's say I don't know, let's say you doing $95,000 a year. That's what your income, your yearly income. So you times that point by point 50, 47 $47,500. You add your yearly salary 95,000. So if you make that, yeah, I mean you could actually you'll be close, you'll be at the part, you'll be where like, you'll be here. You'll be close to this right here. But let's just I don't know, I mean, I ain't you know, you ain't gotta put all your business out. Okay, so the average 21-year-old typically probably makes about, I'll just say on the high side, about $35,000 a year. We zero out all of this. $35,000 a year times point 0.5, 17 plus $35,000. So that would get you at about 50 50,000, a $50,000 house. I mean, here's the deal. I would tell my son the same thing. Get you, if it's some in your area, get you a $50,000 house. The reason why is because you young. You need to get something that you might have to fix up. That's why I say, because you need to learn. You need to learn everything there is about a house, because this ain't gonna be your last house that you're gonna purchase. And then you don't want to get in no situation where you lose your job and then you struggling to pay your condo mortgage, and then you got to come back and live with your mom and dad or whatever. Like you want to you want to get in, because see, this is what a guy that my mother was trying to get a mortgage through, he was telling me. I was literally soaking up everything he was telling me. He said, get a house that no matter what, you could pay it off. If you get lost your job tomorrow, you could collect cans and pay the mortgage. So if you get a $50,000 house, I mean, basically your mortgage would be like, without taxes, $150 a month for a 30-year mortgage. I mean, it wouldn't even make sense to even get a 30-year mortgage. You could get a 15-year mortgage and it'll still be like very, very cheap. I mean, your mortgage without taxes would be like $200-300 a month. Okay, and then with taxes, depending on the tax rate or whatever that you have to pay in the area. Now that you would actually be looking. So if you just basically do that, you're safe to um because see, here's the thing. A lot of time when you're going from zero to, let's just say 0 to 50K, you have what is called a slim margin of error. And this is what gets most people. This is what gets most people. Okay. They'll what they'll do, this is what typically happens right here. Okay. In the short game, you have a slim margin of error. When you pretty much trying to stave off of bills, and you got some debts that you have to pay off, and you got to work, you don't really have that much savings. You pretty much working off of a slim margin of error. Even myself, I have a very slim margin of error. Anything go left, I mean, it could compromise everything I worked out hard for. I would have to start off and I'd have to work a lot harder to catch up. So a lot of people are operating off of a slim margin of error, because you just gotta think, like, you don't have that much as a fucking, I mean, excuse me, you don't have a security blanket. Okay, you don't have a security blanket where somebody's gonna come in and save you, or you got insurance off of, if something happened, you got some money that you'll get it all back. So most people are working off of a slim margin of error. So when you go and you get $150,000 loan or $250,000 loan, what is that slim margin of error? Okay, what is that? That's based off of your income. You lose your job, there goes that slim margin. It goes right over that, just right there. It could happen. How quick can you lose your job? How long does it take to lose your job? Just think about that. So you lose your job or you get laid off, that's all it takes for that slim margin of error to occur. But if you operating off of a low basically margin of error, where it's like basically the investment is $50,000, you know, you basically you could lose your job and you will be able to recover a lot better than if you had to pay add $100,000 to $200,000 to that slim margin. If you get what I'm saying. See, like I'm not a financial analyst, you know, but I understand a lot of things that they would talk about, even probably even more, because I've researched for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? I've lived this life. I've seen people, lose their job. I've lost my job many of times. And then that was enough to log jam all my bills, log jam my rent, and then ultimately be in a point where I'm in eviction court. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what happened to me. This is why, I don't like rent. I don't. I'd rather live in the hood and buy a hood house than pay rent and live in I don't care, Beverly Hills. Because when I rent in Beverly Hills, and they have a Beverly Hills in Chicago too. It's very nice too. I'd rather have that hood house and I own it. I deal with everything outside that house. And the inside everything nice too, you know. I'd rather have that than pay $1,800 a month for rent for some nice apartment in Beverly Hills that I gotta pay every month 1,800, 1,800, 1,800 plus electricity, plus all of my other bills. Cause it's you gotta put the plus on that. All of the other stuff you gotta pay, add that to that $1,800 and plus more because now you got utilities. You know what I'm saying? You got more bills. When you get an apartment, you get more bills. You getting also the rent plus more bills. So it's like I'd rather suffer. I don't care if I gotta sleep on a freaking whatever. I mean, stuff I gotta deal with now. It's rough. It's like I say, like I told you, I went from one master, one boss, and then I go to a higher boss. I mean, I'm literally slaying dragons. I mean, it's hard. It's really, really difficult what I'm going through right now. But the thing is, I'd rather do it because the greater good in the end is in a situation where everybody else gonna be talking about their rent, talking about their mortgage, but the broke genius, he ain't gonna have no rent, no mortgage. He gonna be living in the hood, but with a Costco card and all this other stuff. But you know, I mean, no mortgage, no rent, and then that type of stuff, man. When that really makes that makes women get wet, man. Women gonna watch this. They gonna listen to this playback, man. They gonna get warm and wet off of just hearing that, because a lot of women, man, they be stressed out just as much as anybody else. Paying all these bills and all this other stuff, and they just really, a lot of times it's just because they want nice stuff and they want to keep up with their friends and stuff like that that also has nice stuff. You know what I said a long time ago? Fuck them all, literally, because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna impress you Like me impressing you ain't gonna pay my bills. You not paying my bills, you have no say so. And okay, so here's the thing. What I'm saying here is like, because I'm talking about money. When I talk about money, man, I could talk a long time. Okay, if somebody paying my bills, I will pay attention to them. Let's say somebody was giving me some money, right? They was just giving me some money, and it was an equitable situation. They was giving me some money. I was giving them some advice. I would pay attention to them because they are paying some of my bills at that point. But if a motherfucker ain't paying my bills, please. I ain't really, I mean, I focus on people, man. I listen to people's advice too. But critiquing me or talking about me or trying to keep up with somebody, man, that ain't paying my bills, a long time ago, I was like, nah, hell nah. I ain't focusing on them people. They ain't paying my bills. It come back to my bottom line. They ain't paying for my bottom line. In the financial terms, the bottom line is your personal financial statement, your business financial statement. If it ain't about that bottom line, I don't even want to hear it. It ain't even I don't even care about what other people think. You think like that's why I call myself the broke genius. I'm very confident in my inadequacies and my strengths. Because the thing is, it's like I'm not impressed. I stopped trying to impress people a long time ago. I want to impress myself. I just found a house that's worth 30,000 in my city now that I could get it easy. Yeah, I mean, see, the thing is, man, unfortunately, it's like if my son, he gonna have to get him a little hoopty at first. The reason why is like me when I got my first car, it wasn't no no brand new car. I had to get a whole bunch of hoopties. But now, yeah, I know how to change spark plugs. I know how to change spark plug wires. I know how to do a tune up on a car. You know what I'm saying? I know how to change my own my Mercedes. I couldn't find no place to really go, and I ain't had no time, you know. So I just changed my own oil. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even have to jack it up because it was so high up off the ground. All I had to do was just drop that nut and you know what I'm saying, let it rip, cap it off, put the oil back in there, boom. You know what I'm saying? Like I literally went like almost a whole year without changing the oil, because I just a lot of times just didn't stop to go get it changed. And then I know it's expensive because me changing my own oil myself, I spent on oil alone, I at least spent close to $100. So if I probably went to somewhere else, they would have probably charged me like over about $200 or something like that to change my oil, because the oil was like synthetic that I had to use, and it was very expensive. So because oil prices are actually up as far as buying actual oil, like from like AutoZone and whatnot. So yeah, I know a lot about cars because I bought a lot of fixer uppers. I mean, had I not done that, I probably wouldn't have known a lot. So I say like, yeah, get something that might need a little fixing up, because at the end you're gonna be an expert. You're gonna be, by the time you 30 years old, you done already had about two or three or four or five houses, and then when you talking on the phone to your contractor or roofer or electrician or plumber, you already know what to say, the terminologies and everything. They know like, oh, okay, this person experienced. They know what they talking about. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They can respect that. And they probably ain't gonna try to take advantage of you because you already know the prices too. See, that's another thing. You gotta know the price. See, I know the prices of these repairs. You know what I'm saying? And I know what they supposed to cost. So I know when they below cost on their labor price or above cost. Now I found a 60K house and a 40K house too. Yeah, man. I mean, see, the thing is if you buy a house and it's, let's say you, because I know you ain't just probably gonna get no 0%, mortgage. You gonna put probably half down or more than 20% down. So now your mortgage ain't gonna be even. It's not even gonna be high at all. Somebody gonna be watching this playback, man. They gonna do the same thing, and then they gonna be like, man, dang. I'm glad I listened to this dude because I was about to do the same thing Soul Trader was gonna do, and damn, I would have, my friend he just lost his job last week, you know, and he crying to me talking about he can't pay his mortgage, and his wife probably gonna leave him or his girlfriend or his fiance. But I bought me a house, for about 75,000. All it needed was some painting and some new floors and some cabinet resurfacing. You know, So yeah, man. I mean, you got this stuff is strategic, man. You got to be strategic out here. It's really set up a certain way, and the way it's set up, how you kind of can tell. A lot of things are set up towards you to get new stuff, to get new nice stuff, right? This new nice stuff costs money. And the reason why a lot of times people want it is because it like it's very impressive. Don't get me wrong, I like nice new stuff too, but I don't have nice new money. So what I do is I buy stuff for sales. I look for deals. I'm like because I'm not like Warren Buffett, but um I have the same sign he has. I understand the power of thrift, being thrifty. I mean, I like deals. I like buying deals. I like finding deals. With real estate, it's no different. I really love finding deals. I love real estate deals. Even cars. I want to get into one thing I will be also doing once I'm done with my house. I'm gonna be buying cars. Because I got a lot of land. I got a lot of parking spaces. I'm gonna have a few cars because I'm gonna be he's reselling cars. So, I couldn't really get into that because I didn't really know how to do it living with my sister and I didn't have a lot of parking spaces. I didn't even have the freedom to even do that, but that's a whole nother story. But the thing is that yeah, I'm also gonna get into the cars. Two of the biggest things people purchase usually is houses and cars. I'm gonna be selling both, you know. So, those are the things that I'm gonna be trying to do to get up that millionaire savings plan, those steps. And once you get to the millionaire level, to 11th step, you just reset it. You start now, instead of starting with 1,000, you start with 10,000 to ultimately get to $10 million. Because the thing here is, like I say, you want to be confident. And one thing I do will say is I'm very confident when I got $10,000 in my bank account. When I got $5,000 in my bank account, I'm very confident. My I sleep like a baby when I got, a whole bunch of stacks in my bank account, because I know pretty much for the most common things I pretty much got it covered. I didn't even worry about my car. My car was just sitting in the freaking parking lot with two busted tires. Just got a couple Ubers, you know what I'm saying? And went to sleep. Didn't lose any sleep over my car thinking about how that situation would have went if I when I was broke, back when I before pre MSP, millionaire savings plan, before that. I'd be calling my uncle, calling somebody to like give me some money because I wouldn't have the money. And then I would have parked the car across the street, but then I'll be trying to find another used car lot to get the car towed, trying to get AAA and trying to wheel and deal and all this other stuff. and then trying to get a payday loan on the car while it's in the lot, all this goofy ass shit, right? To try to come up with some money in that situation because I didn't have none. But I was prepared at this point because I use my MSP. Okay, that shit. I like how that sound. It sounds like it sounds like a PlayStation. I I use my MSP. I was already using my MSP. Okay, and I already had about 6 grand in the bank. You know, getting paid. For my job every week or whatever. Getting money from other ventures that I deal with. So I didn't lose any sleep. I didn't have to call anybody. You know, it was just it was just a funny situation. Pretty much it was like kind of goofy and kind of silly, and I was pissed off, but it was just a goofy situation. But the next day, I just pretty much got it. Like I said, got an Uber. You know what I'm saying? They gave me some new tires, put some nitrogen in it. I ain't never got no tires with no nitrogen. I'm calling my cousin like, man, what do I do? What I got to go to a nitrogen air pump or something like that? What? It's like, nah, man, you can just, you can get regular air with it. So it's like, yeah, man, having money, man, having your ducks in line. Yeah, and then when it comes to women, you know, you got 5, $10,000 in your bank account. You ain't you ain't hard up for no women. At least I wasn't. I mean, I ain't got no $5, $10,000 in my bank account now. Most of my money goes towards my real estate. You know, basically, my renovations. So it's like, but let's say, pretty much, you got a whole bunch of money. She giving you attitude. Okay, all right, bye, and okay, all right, see you later. And they like, oh, he an asshole. Okay, and all right, bye. You know what I'm saying? I mean, before COVID, 10,000, $10,000 passport, stamp here, please. Colombia, here we come. Brazil, Dominican Republic. I mean, wherever you want to go. I mean, just go. I'll just drive to Canada. I mean, you know, American woman, you ain't gonna respect me. I can't find nobody here to respect me or treat me a certain way or whatever. I'm an international thinker because I ain't nothing but an ex-Navy veteran. So I already think international. I've been out this country. You know what I'm saying? I've been to Japan. I've been to Guam or whatever. I mean, I already know how the women treat you in other countries. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I SYSBM before SYSBM was ever even a lingo. I mean, shoot. So it's not even part of my vocabulary. It's just common sense. But how about you ain't even got to go through all of that? Pretty much that energy, man, is attractive to women. That aura of confidence, women already attractive. So they gonna be looking at you. They see how you know pretty much how confident you are, how the facial expression on your face, you're focused and comfortable. They pick up on that vibe. You know what I'm saying? They look in your way. They doing double takes, triple takes, quadruple takes. All you got to do is, talk to them, pretty much get the number effortlessly. And then there you go. Boom, bada bang, bada beam. You know, now I found a house that's 25K. Don't know a house could be so cheap. Yeah, man. See, here's what you could do, man. You ain't gotta deal with me, but I mean, basically, what you do, man, is just you could email me on my email down here a property that you want to purchase, And what I'll do is what I'll do for you, I'll give you a free property analysis. And what that is I'll look at the surrounding areas, I'll look at the comps, I'll look at the actual pictures of the house if they have some. I could tell you what grade house that is, an estimate of what it would cost to fix up, and then what type of area that is around surrounded that house, and if it's actually ultimately a good investment, so that way you will know what you're getting into. And then I also probably will look at the taxes, see if it's some back taxes owned on it or something like that. And I do that for you, man. you know because I like helping people out. So you email me some properties, some addresses, I'll give you a free property analysis. You know, I got a spreadsheet that's pretty good, because actually what I was doing was I was trying to find some properties that um basically I was actually trying to wholesale at one point before I knew that Illinois outlawed wholesaling. But I'm actually going to try to get back into it, because as on that stream that you mentioned earlier, yeah, I was already thinking about doing something to get around that. But yeah, like I say, email me, and I'll give you a property analysis when I have time, and I'll let you know what's up. I mean, basically, you want to look for something in a good area. You want to you don't want to get a bad property or a fixer upper in a bad neighborhood unless you kind of don't really have any options. Like me, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really have that many options. And I'm glad I did buy my property, because renting is very, very difficult right now for me. And it's like people want all of this red tape for you to go through, and it's like I really would want a temporary rental, you know, but it's like they got all of this red tape, and it's just like, well, just forget about it. But I already have this property, so it's my way of kind of dealing with that, because that was my purpose of buying. That was primarily my focus, was to get out the rent drama or whatever, but yeah, so let me put that in here for you. So let's see here. So there you go. So yeah, I mean, yeah, just email me. I'll take a look at whatever, if yeah, you just got to give me a little time, because a lot of times, man, I be preoccupied. But yeah, I'm gonna call it. You know, I appreciate talking to you guys. Definitely focus on your short game, and think about your long game. And yeah, I definitely recommend people to pick up the game of golf. Definitely when it gets warm, or if you in a climate, like Georgia, Alabama, a lot of places where it's warm. Yeah, man, get some golf clubs at a thrift store. Man, pick up the game of golf, because one thing I'll tell you, one thing I learned from my uncle that kind of struggling, man, that made six figures and stuff like that. Like, you know, he played golf because a lot of times, that's the game that a lot of wealthy, rich individuals play, and that's where they will and deal. That's where a lot of business decisions are made, on the golf course. Bets are made to business decisions are made on the golf course, man. Learn how to play golf. Get some clubs, get you some attire. So if next spring, get out there, man, and meet people and network. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely something I would say. But you guys have a good one. I'll